Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Am I loud and clear? Yes? All right, good. We are in between lunch and you, right? So patience is key, right? So with us here, we have esteemed panelists that's from various sectors. So what we're going to do is that the panel discussion today is going to be lively. Okay, and I would like to allow the last 5 minutes or so for Q&A from the floor. Please, as we're discussing, or even something that has been behind your head for a long time, do raise up your hand and ask the panel the questions. Because it's not easy to get all this esteemed panel on at one time, so please make use of it, okay? So, okay. As what we have heard since this morning, right? The cloud has tons of advantages, but with it brings in the slew of security vulnerabilities for organizations to navigate, right? ArcServe study have found that over 80% of organizations are looking into hybrid cloud investment and also multi-cloud investments, okay? And we know that managing security in multi-cloud environments is actually a very daunting task because of the complexities and also the variety of platform and services all at the same time. So the growing importance of cloud security cannot be underestimated in this digital landscape, because we know that in the cloud we have applications, we have data. So as the organization, we need to look into how the data is stored, managed, and also assessed. So the panel today, we're going to talk about the security part of things, okay? So, and we know that the rising numbers of cyber attacks, breaches that we hear in the recent years are glaring and also scary, okay? So some of the cases that we heard about the breaches are companies such as LinkedIn, Facebook, Accenture, Cognite, and even Toyota, right? And the rising, and the thing is that the complexity of it is actually due to attacks nowadays are using innovative technology to increase seamlessness and also to increase the sophistications of the attack. So we have technologies such as AI and also quantum computing to aid the cyber attackers. Of course, nowadays from the defense side, a lot of them are using the same technology too. So that's why a comprehensive security strategy, it is actually paramount for all of us here today, right? And there are, I would say, forecasted cloud security spending for 2024. Maybe you ask the floor, have a guess, what is cloud security spending forecasted for this year? $1 billion? 2? Okay, the number is more than $6 billion. Cloud security spending for this year itself. So this is why the panel today is very important. So our title itself is called Defending Malaysia Digital Realm from Potential Cyber and Cloud Security Attack. So for a start, right, so we are talking about, so the whole morning we hear about data centers, cloud, how great it is, the potential and all that. So what I would like to know from the panel today is what's in the cloud security threat landscape, especially for 2024. I think all of us here are curious, right? It comes with advantages, so what are the threats out there? So for this question, let's start off with CHIA.
Hi, good afternoon all. Today the cyber computing threat, right, is continue evolving since the day one, right? It never goes away. In fact, it was due to many factors, right? One of the very obvious factor will be the innovation of the cyber criminal. Yeah, and don't never underestimate our cyber attacker. They are just like the vendor. Yeah, if we have a R&D group, we have the genius in our organization, and same to them, right? And these are the people that are always finding ways to break the code and to make themselves not just rich, but they make sure that they overtake you, they upbeat you, especially the vendor and also the big enterprises across the world. Right. Number two, basically is because of the advance of the technology. So nowadays, if you look at in IT, right, there are so many new things right now launched in the market. Right. Lately, all the IoT, AI, robotics and all that, that basically introduced another level of the security questions, and we need to enhance in terms of the security level to ensure that the business, when you are adopting this technology, you never sacrifice your security standard in your organization. So today, some of the obvious scenario that you can see from the cyber attack would be very ransomware and malware, right? This is very common. And in fact, the attack has been even more frequent right now, right? Like a wave, from one zone going to another zone, and from one segmentation, go to another segment. Used to be the BFSI sector are the favorite one, right? But lately, even in Malaysia, guess who is the target? Manufacturing company. Yeah. Once the hacker, they know the code to break already, they will not let go anyone, even though you are SMI and SME, right? So because they cast the net, they wanted to catch as many fish as possible, right? Data breaches. And the other area will be the data breaches, right? This is one of the very top, so-called the leakage or the issue from the cloud computing today, because the hacker basically do a data breach. They get the sensitive information from the system, and they make use of the informations that they get, right? And they skew towards their needs, because they could be a bank, the payment gateway example. It could be all our payment status, and also our bank details, and also our money, right? So data breach is one of the area that is, it become a very big issues right now when it comes to the cyber attacks, right? And some of the additional things would be like the hijacking account. Right, this is very common in Facebook, right? Yeah, I have once, right? And people hijack my account, and then they send to my community, send to all my Facebook followers and friends to ask for the some of the sensitive information. So I got to quickly declare to the whole world that, hey, that's not me, through my WhatsApp, through my all other channel, to inform all my friends and the community, right? So there is a lot of the so-called the latest trend, and is unstoppable basically. So this basically create a very, I wouldn't say interesting, right? Is create a lot of headache. That basically show our cloud computing's landscape in 2024, right? Is getting more complicated, more favor, and also it is even much more tricky and difficult for people to anticipate and prevent it. And to a certain extent, right, the business and even individual, we are waiting for the things happen, then we react how to at the best position to prevent as much as we can. If we can't prevent, at least we try on the remediations, right? And I think I probably share with you one of the interesting, we call it the Data Trend Report 2024, which is run by Veeam, but it's through the third party. So basically, we actually interview about 1,600 decision makers, mainly CIO level across the world, mostly at the Fortune 500, right? So based on the data point, right, 95% of the organization from the 1,600 IT decision maker, they show 95%, they show extreme or moderate to extreme worried about the security in the cloud computing, right? These are all the CIO and the decision maker from the top Fortune 500 company, majority of them. Second point, 85%, right, from the enterprises that through this sampling, from the survey, right, 85% of them, for the past 12 months, they get attacked at least one. At least one. So that means some basically get multiple attack within a year. And third, this is the most scary part. Even though the organization pay the ransom to get back their data, right? But out of 4, 1 only get back their data. Another 3 is like, they pay already, they are being blackmailed already, they pay, but sorry, I couldn't get back my data. So this is the data points that we basically publish in the 2004 data trend reports, right? So basically that provide a very informative information that, right? Today, you are already have no choice. You cannot treat the cybersecurity as what they call it, the insurance already, yes. Right? It's like nice to have. No, it is a must already. It's your top priority to have that implemented in your organizations.
Okay, thank you. I think that's a good point that Chacha have mentioned. So I think 2017 or so, we were exposed to the word ransomware, and then we introduced to something called double extortion, and now we are at triple extortion. So like what Chacha has shared earlier on too, is like to add on, it's like we're actually in an era where we have malware as a service, we have ransomware as a service. Just say that, and we won't have DDoS as a service. If just say that I want to attack Bank Muamalat, I actually can hire somebody to actually DDoS them. You know, so these are what is happening in the cybersecurity threat landscape. And one thing is also that as I would believe that everyone in the room here is on the defense side, right? So not on the attack side. One thing that is always true is that from the security point of view, the relationship with the attackers is always many to one. Okay, there's always many forms and many avenues of attack to the organization, and the relationship from the organization, which is from us to them, is always one to many. And they'll do this every day. They just need to have one success. Okay, so that's why in security it is a long journey. Okay, so next questions. So the thing is that clouds, of course, it brings us efficiency. It's always fast and furious, right? And it also brings in cost effectiveness. Adoption and maintaining applications, data in the cloud actually comes with many hurdles. So for this, I would like to ask Dr. Isma. So what are the challenges from your experience and also what you have gathered so far?
Thank you, Dr. Green. Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon. Before I answer the question from Dr. Green, this will be particularly from myself as an individual. It doesn't represent the Bank Muamalat, so I need to state this disclaimer. For the challenges in cloud, I would say the main root cause is the skill set. Yeah? Anyone disagree with me? The main challenges for us to move to the cloud is the competent skill set. I think, you know, like Dr. Green mentioned just now, all the audience are on the defensive side. Probably some of the, you know, the technology provider are on the offensive side, but ethical offensive side. Yeah. I just came back this morning from the launch of research on the demand from TVET education in the area of cybersecurity by Minister of Human Resource. Apparently, you know, I mean, like this morning, some of the speakers mentioned, you know, Google hire, they don't care about your degree or any of your, as long as you can do the job. So I believe it leads from that, you know, you don't have enough resources, you don't have, I mean, you can have many people as you can, but the competent one, you know, the one that have all the skill sets to handle your environment. For me, going to cloud is a different ball game compared to what we are having previously on the on-prem. It's a totally different controls. You got to define your appetite, your risk appetite. How do you going to manage your environment on the cloud? Yeah. I mean, from the skill set, it leads to many other incidents like misconfigurations, right? And then it leads to insecure API configurations. It will compromise your environment. And as the person who works in the regulated environment, we need to comply with the regulator. As the FI in Malaysia, we all need to comply with the RMIT Appendix 10, especially that talks about cloud, key risk and control measure for cloud services. Whoever have gone through with the regulator, the consultation phase, it took a long time, for them to give the approval to move to the cloud. This is because of the risk-based approach. And on that note, the other challenge that I see is that if we were to simulate, one of the requirements in that policy document that we need to simulate, conduct cyber drill. How are you going to conduct cyber drill in the cloud? Everybody is going, this is my downtime, your PAS have, okay, this is my third downtime. My IAS said, no, I cannot suit your PAS, I have my own downtime for you to conduct the cyber drill. I said, then the SAS said, I have a different time zone. That is a real headache for us to coordinate that thing. Whereas when things are on your prime, it's on your control. But when it goes to the cloud, you need strong collaboration, you need strong understanding. And furthermore, if some of the CSP are here, they has been twisted arm just to follow the local regulation, if I may say so. So I think that's the from my opinion, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you. So next, I would like to know from Desmond, right? So what are the primary obstacles to do businesses in Malaysia encounter in establishing strong digital security, and what the measures can effectively tackle these challenges?
Right. Thank you, Dr. CARRINE. So just a very quick background to me, right? Previously, I was in a Big Four audit, looking mainly from the offensive security of things in terms of cybersecurity audit. So right now, I'm with Sangfor, looking more of providing security products and services really to help protect and to defend for the customer. So the reason why I'm going with this route is really have to have that purview of both sides of offensive and defensive security. So answering to what Dr. CARRINE has shared and asked us here, I think that there is a strong need to have a standardized regulatory baseline as per what we have in terms of RMIT for the financial institutions, right? But right now, there is no essential, there's no specific regulatory requirements or baseline for the SMB or the SME to regulate in that sense, right? So there should be a baseline really for everyone to follow, to make that as a mandatory guide so we can all be on the same page in terms of having a strong security posture and resilience. That's one. And the other thing really is something that I've seen very common across my experience, especially in incident response services for Sangfor, across Europe, Middle East, or even in Asia itself, where we realize there is still a worrying amount of customers and end user who does not still see security as a top or perhaps a high priority to the company. So that is why we have what we say in the industry, the chicken and egg situation, whereby should we invest more, should we pay more money, or should we risk the security exposure and gaps that we have, right? So this is something that we in Sangfor, we realize that this is a huge issue even in Malaysia itself, which is why we are right now working with NACSA. For those of you who know, NACSA referring to the cybersecurity agency in Malaysia, where we are trying to create a standardized cybersecurity assessment, CSR, that can be applied to some of these industries and sectors across different customer set there is in Malaysia. So this is something that we hope would bring a huge change, especially to the Malaysia or the cybersecurity landscape here.
CHIA, anything to add on that?
Yeah. Okay, I come from the vendor aspect, right? I totally agree that two of the bigger contribution to the obstacles, especially in Malaysia, would be the lack of skill that Dr. Ismail mentioned, and also what Desmond mentioned also as one of the points, is very complicated and all that. The other things I think play a very important role is lack of awareness, right? Well, I have to say that the enterprises have the luxury, the big enterprises have the luxury because it is always the first target, right? Right? So they are the first hand, right? So they have the luxury, so-called, to expose the IT teams and all that, and they allocate budget to implement all the cybersecurity tools and also the system within the organization itself. But how about the mid-tier and the SME, right? Lack of awareness, because you just look at the number of the IT people in the IT team, right? And they have to handle everything under the hot sun. Hardware, software, network, security, yeah. And if it is internet banking, mobile banking, everything is also payment gateway, right? Everything is actually within the IT division's portfolio. So that is a very tough job for what we call it one leg kick, to be able to master the skill across all, right? And if any of the cybersecurity tool monitoring and any of the software and all that, it definitely costs money. Yeah, so as a boss of the company, I also need to consider that whether I'm willing to spend that much, invest into this to have a more secure environment, versus I put the priority in other things that can so-called raise my revenue or profit in a way, right? But that also you have to take chance lah. That hopefully praying hard that I'm not the target. Yeah. So this is a lack of the budget. And the other, a bigger contribution to the obstacles, right? Because we do a lot of educations to the customer enterprises to advise them to really enhance on the security portion. But let's say they have the budget, they have the skill set. But what is the obstacles? Is the system within the organization itself is pretty much legacy, outdated. Yeah. So if they wanted to implement the latest software or cybersecurity product in their environments, right? You can't just stand alone. You need to ensure that you have certain level of integrations with your incumbent system within your IT organization. Yeah, but that itself, the outdated so-called the legacy system, are not allowed to do that. And secondly, also they are so-called a lot of the latest cybersecurity features and all that, they are not embedded in the outdated or legacy software. So that basically handicapped the whole the scenario that they wanted to take the chance to improve their cybersecurity systems within the organization itself.
Okay, thank you. I think to add on to what the panelists have spoken about the strong digital security, right? For big companies, of course, they have the budget, they have the know-how, they have the push down from the HQ to do certain things, right? From SME points of view, from Malaysian organization point of view, sometimes it can be daunting and to be overwhelming. Where do I start? Right? Where do I start? So one point that Desmond had brought it up that I thought that was relevant that I want to add on is that one thing is that for organizations out there, be it big or small, for a start, look into a framework, a guideline as a guidance. So one framework that is good is a NIST framework. So this can be applicable for big, from organizations from various industries, various size and everything. That is a good guideline or framework to fall back on. And when it comes to security, right, please do not target to have 100% security on the first day, okay? I think it's very overwhelming because it's hard to get the talent, skill set, and the budget to do everything in one day. So security is always a cycle. What you do is that you do the minimal first year, and second year you target to improve from the first year. Security is a journey because what is threat today, it will not be the same threat the next day, right? So security, for a start, for all the organizations out there, start small, but start today, okay? So as I promised, I'll open the floor for Q&A. Anyone? All right, good. So we have one.
Hello. Thank you, Madam Facilitator.
Thank you.
When all of you were talking, and including the earlier sessions, I always remember one saying, whatever one person can make, another person can break.
Yes.
That means cybersecurity will be an everlasting, enduring fight between the creators and the defenders. Am I right?
That's true.
Yeah, so the other thing is that I understand that quantum computing, where I deal with qubits instead of bits, will be more than a million times faster than our traditional computing. That means that all security codes can be broken through quantum computing. Fortunately, at this moment, very few organizations are involved with quantum computing. The other thing is that if you wave your hand or you show your face in public, you can be duplicated. For example, if a politician or anyone waves their hand, your thumbprint, your palm print will be captured, and with the latest technology, you can actually reproduce it and make a rubber glove with all your prints, and I can actually break through all your system when you use thumbprint, because that thumbprint is captured when you wave your hand, your palms, right? So what I want to know is that, is there any way to prevent this? I think there is no way to totally prevent this because, as I say, it's an everlasting fight between the creators and the defenders. Anyway, my name is Dr. YKK. I'm a Chief Mind Unzipper, the only one in the world with that title of Mind Bloom Consulting. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone to take the question?
I can start first. So thank you very much, Injit, for your question. So I think one immediate thing that we all can learn, or we all can prepare for these sort of issues where, again, what we call in the industry chicken and egg situation where, you know, the attackers will find new ways, the defense will need time to really adapt, to learn how can we come across or how can we solve this particular issue, right? So in general, for the general publics, to anyone, either be a technical, a governance side, or let's say if you have a business background, the key things that I always tell people is be aware, all right? Make sure you keep yourself educated with these new ways that the hackers are trying to manipulate you, are trying to bypass your security controls, are trying to find different ways to trick you to getting and making these sort of mistakes. One of the key, what we call cherry on the tree, where these hackers will try to manipulate you, is really based on what we call human error. So once you get complacent, so once you get, you know, I would say, not serious about certain things, that's where they will take advantage of you. All right, so be aware of your surroundings, be aware of what you're doing, look closer before you make an action. That is what I can share from a general public sense of view.
Okay. Anyone else?
Before we leave, I just wanted to leave a short message to the audience before we end the session. I mean, for me, first thing is identify your pain point, so that you do not waste your resources and reasoning why you need to go to change the environment. Identify your pain points. That's the first thing, my first message. Second message is know your crown jewels. Conduct the risk assessment and protect it. So these two are very, very key important message to avoid any security incidents, in any environment. So know your crown jewels, conduct the risk assessment, and put the control measures that protect your crown jewels. That's all. Thank you.
I think before we leave, I'm going to give each panelist a 30 seconds to share with us the takeaway with the audience. Thank you. We'll start with Desmond, I think from that side.
All right, thanks. So for me, I would say the key takeaway is really on 2 points. First, from an organization point of view, please ensure that your business and IT strategy is always aligned. If there is a big connection between your IT and business strategy, that's when there will be a lot of things that will not be agreed. There will be a lot of things that will cause conflict, right? The other last point that I'd like to share with you guys is make use of what you have around you. That is referring to these external advisory, these external consultants, these external vendors. Why? Because some of these vendors, or perhaps for myself as a security principal, we are exposed talking to different customers from different countries, different industries, different background. So there are things at times that we can share with you from an independent point of view, from an independent opinion on what you can or what you need to improve. So do share your concerns, and perhaps you can have a different point of view of what you really need to improve your security posture and, of course, your security resilience. That's all I have to share.
Okay.
Thanks.
Chacha?
Okay, I come back to the 2 points, 2 important points. Prevention and remediation, okay? Prevention, if I use a simple analogy like, if we are very careful in food intake, we exercise, we sleep well, but does it guarantee that we will not fall sick or we will not touch wood, get some disease like cancer and all that? Not necessarily, right? So the prevention is something that in any of the organization, you must basically put all the processes in place, right? Things like the system, make sure that you have the latest patches, make sure that you upgrade to the latest. These are the simple things, but you will be surprised. Many overlook it or they take chance, right? They hope that nothing happened. So, or they don't pay for the upgrade and all that. So then they don't have the latest versions to protect their environment and things happen, right? Attacker will take this advantage or the leakage to come into your environments, right? And there are other prevention like simple things like access control, the identity authentication, okay, and all the multi-factor authentication. These are the things that is already happened in majority of the enterprises right now. But those that are not basically in place yet, you better try to enhance the security so-called area in your environment. I use another analogy, right? This is real life happening. This analogy is, it happened to my taman. Okay, initially my taman is not the gated community. And when we move in, so many robbery happen. Thief, robbery happen and all that. The other tamans that surrounding us are gated community, right? So they are safer. So we are our taman is the target. So what to do? All the residents, we build the community, right? The gated community. We pay for the guard and all that to control the traffics and all that. Then guess what? Another new taman come out, which is the new developments and all that behind my taman. And the next, because they are not gated community, the next is the robber go to that area. Yeah, so it's similar. If you already have all the so-called security measurements in your organization, when the attacker try to attack, right, they will like to attack the easiest one. If you already have all the things already in place, right, it make their life difficult, right? Second will be the remediation. If you have done all you need already, things still happen. As I mentioned, right? I think Dr. Kerry also mentioned, the hacker, they do infinite attempt to try to attack your environment. They just need to do it right once, and that's it. Yeah, you are already at their mercy in a way. right? So the remediations approach, right, you need to practice some of the, you need to adopt some of the best practice. Simple thing is from the data perspective, right, implement the minimum 3-to-1 rule. 3 data, 3 sets of the data, 2 media, and then 1 have to be offsite and all that. Because at the end of the day, when all fail, right, when you already have all the monitoring tool, cybersecurity tool and all that in place, but let's say this attacker, they are more canggih, okay, they have genius in there, they still break in. What is your last source of defense? That is your secure backup and also your clean copy of the restorations of your data. That is your last resource that you can say no to the ransomware attacker, because you still have your data, you still have your copy, you don't need to basically pay to get back the data that they have already encrypted for you, right? And there are a lot of other approach or best practice when it comes to the remediations, right? Not just on the 3-to-1 rule, but there will be a lot of implementation like authentication, multi-factor authentication and access control. Try to control as much as possible, right? Don't just freely get people to access, and be careful also who are the ones that entitled to access to your system, right? And there will be some additional point like your environment, and also there is an increase of the risk from the vendor management risk as well. That means the attacker actually leverage on the data that you get someone third party to manage the data, right? They basically break in to make use of the unauthorized access level. They take the data and skew towards their advantage, right? And sometimes they sell some of the data point to the competitor, or they use some of the data point to make some of the crimes and all those things, right? So 2 points is always prevention, and cannot take chance that it will not happen, right? When things happen, you must have a process and also the procedure in place. Quickly recover, quickly get the clean data, so that your business and all that is still can continue operates. Thanks.
Thank you.
I think I have already give my takeaway just now. Can we skip and let's go for lunch?
Correct. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Lunch is served. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.